Welcome everyone, and so good to be with you this last Zoom for 2022. Can you believe it? Feels like this year has just flown by and we've had so much fun. I think it's been the funnest year we've had in a couple of years. And so tonight we're going to have a special review and look back over all the exciting things that we've accomplished this year. And so I hope you've got a pen and paper with you. And we're going to do some toasting. So hope you've got a drink nearby. So yeah, we will get into all the good stuff. And we're also going to take some writing and sharing. So I hope you're up for that. And because really the benefit of this time of year is that we get to get ready to go into a new year. But before we go into a new year, we have to complete the old year, meaning you don't want to go into the new year with any regrets, any reservations about starting off fresh. We want to get into the new year excited and not dragging half of 22 with us into 23, because that's just hard work. So we're going to lift some weight off our shoulders tonight and really celebrate the year that has been. So the first thing that we're going to do is, if you've got your paper and pencil ready, I want to share with you a question, and so you can start to think about this. So the question is, what were some of the highlights of 2022? Now, before we start doing any writing, we're actually going to take a video look at some of the highlights of my self-reliance. And I'm glad that you are all here, because you might see yourself in the video. So strap in and get set. I'm going to share my screen with you, and hopefully you can hear all right. Here we go. Okay. Welcome everyone. Our Tuesday night community chat is always fun and fabulous. And tonight we have a special guest. Welcome everyone to my Self-Reliance Summit. How exciting. Welcome everyone to Tuesday night. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to day 10 of the Self-Reliance Summit.
So like pain and discomfort and lethargy and all that's not normal. We create that. So if we start making better decisions, we start to live a better life.
It just depends on what you're willing to receive and what you're ready for, you know, and you can make your business huge if you're ready to receive that.
And I just wanted to reflect that gratitude back to you across all range of topics to do with the environment, ecology, health and wellbeing, finance, many speakers presenting on so many different topics, all to do with self-reliance.
When there is an emergency, the first 3 days are the most important.
Okay, Emilia, what did you like about the weekend?
Everything.
The thing was just getting out there, and the minute we got there, it was just like family.
Because of my hobbit feet.
You know, it makes me want to go out and buy my archery bow.
Exactly on this issue.
Yeah.
And you guys are spot on.
Don't wash lids in the dishwasher. Jars, yes, nothing will happen to them, but not the lids because it's metal and it's got this rubber. You keep the lids.
Yeah. That moisture?
Yeah.
Awesome.
There you go. How was that?
Really cool.
It's great. Yeah.
So thank you everyone for your participation, and without you that video wouldn't have been possible. So, and thank you especially to Michael for helping me put that together. So that was a little bit of the highlights, and not all of them, of course. We had so many good things happen in this year with My Self-Reliance on all our amazing events. So I'd like you to take some time now just to write down and reflect on some of your highlights this year. Welcome, Michelle. Welcome, Barry. Good to see you here.
Hey, how are you?
Excellent.
Good.
Excellent. So, I know you've all had amazing things happen this year. So the next thing I want you to write down is what you want to be acknowledged for. So what I mean by that is if you might want to be acknowledged for the great things that you've accomplished. You might want to be acknowledged for difficult situation that you got yourself through, or you might want to be acknowledged for handling challenges, or there's lots of things that you could we could acknowledge you for? And along with that question goes the question, what goals did you accomplish this year? So you might want to be acknowledged for those accomplishing or doing your best even. So Barry and Michelle, you probably didn't hear me say that if you have a pen and paper during this session and a glass, we're going to do some toasting. So it's really handy. It's a nice reflection time. And Ella and Sarah, you're probably sharing with each other the things that you've accomplished. Need more time? Give me a thumbs up when you're ready. Cool. Okay. The next thing I want you to have a think about is what goals of 2022, and maybe some people don't always set goals as actual goal, or maybe you had a hope of something that was going to happen this year that maybe didn't come to fruition. Write down what you have yet to achieve. It didn't happen yet for you. Give me a thumbs up if you finish that bit. And then I want you to have a think about things that you were worried about that was going to happen in 2022 that didn't happen. So maybe there were some things that people reported that was going to happen and it didn't happen. Or things that you expected was going to happen in your life and it didn't happen. Maybe it could have been a promotion or a move or a something that you expected to, and then the fact that it didn't happen might be a relief, or the fact that it didn't happen might be a disappointment. Either way, write those things down. Tell me if you need more time, or give me a thumbs up if you're okay, good. Thanks. Thanks, Michaela. Okay, and then what do you most regret, or something that you're sad about that happened this year? It's important that we acknowledge that and just allow that to be. You might have lost a family member. Now, who needs more time? Yeah. Okay, so I want you to have a look back over what you've written down. And you've got some highlights there. You've got some things that you have accomplished, that you're proud of yourself for, some things that you have could be acknowledged for. And then you have got some things that maybe you didn't accomplish and that goals that weren't fulfilled on. And maybe some things that you were sad about or worried, maybe some things that you were worried about and they didn't happen. And maybe that's was fortunate or unfortunate. And maybe you've got some regrets or some sadness. Now I want you to have a look at over those things that are maybe they don't leave you in a happy place. And I want you to see if there's something on that list there that if you could bring forgiveness to it, because that's a very freeing state of being, not always easy, but maybe there's something on your list that you could be kind to yourself around, or you could be forgiving of someone else around, or that you could let go and be okay with that it didn't happen, or that you could bring love to that situation. And you may or may not want to, but I'm not saying you need to or have to, but if you did, what would that now make available for you? Meaning, if there was some way that you could have some forgiveness come to that area of your life, what would that be like for you? Would it free you up? Would it be lighten the load? So I just want three people to come off mute and share what some of your highlights were. So we're just going to go back over and what you've written down, what you've been thinking about, and who'd like to share what your highlights were for this year?
Oh.
Yeah, thanks, Cheryl.
Okay, well, my highlight was actually meeting all you guys, because up until this year, I was very isolated in the fact that I didn't really know anybody like-minded. So it was just amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Who did you meet first, and when did you meet up? What was the first meeting?
I can't remember. Maybe I got onto one of your sessions, Kelly, I think. No. I went to the stand in the park. I went to Artemis's stand in the park first. And I think that's where I met Ella. Yeah.
And Ella's a beautiful connector of people.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
She's a beautiful person. Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. And then I found Telegram, and then my whole world opened up.
That is certainly a highlight. Love that.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thanks, Cheryl. Who else has got a highlight they'd like to share?
Oh, I'd like to add to that then. Yes, I remember meeting Cheryl as well, and I think we went to the first Leaf Cafe catch up together, or it was both our first time, and that's when I first met you and everyone else in this wonderful group around April this year. And life was never the same.
That's right. I do remember that one. That was lots of fun. That's where I
Yeah.
first learned about homeschooling.
Yes, yes. So that's one of my highlights too, actually. So friendships and social and networking and upskilling, food storage and all that too was the highlight for me this year. So I've surprised myself, as well as gardening. Yeah,
Yeah, tick all those boxes. You've done it all.
not really. There's more yet.
All right. Who else wants to share a highlight?
The bush survival course of Jake was good. Really enjoyed that one. The camping at Coles, really enjoyed that one. The canning with Atto, that was good as well. And the permaculture weekend at Years, that was really good too.
I love that. I love that, Andrew, because and all those are all the getting out into nature, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, all the outside and the connecting part of it all as well.
Yeah, I wish I could have put some of those photos into the video from Jake's bush survival. That was super fun.
Yeah, it was good.
So good.
I agree with what Cheryl had said about meeting a wider audience of people. I mean, it was a fine thread that we found you, Kelly. Andrew and I had already been on Telegram, sort of outside this whole thing. And then it's through a thread that Andrew had seen a link to you. So he'd come on, because we had other commitments on a Tuesday, but he'd come on board. I think this one particular night, I was thinking, who's this female that my husband's talking to? And yeah, in the background thinking. So I thought, right, next session, I want to come in, I want to meet this female. And I met you, Kelly, beautiful, beautiful Kelly, and your family, and Simon and your family. And it's just been these fine threads of meeting people. Like everybody here, I've met you. I've met you in person. I've met everybody here in person through you, Kelly. So just fine threads, and it'll go on from here. You know, we're trying to invite people to come into the session, or when you had the summit going, looking for people. So I want to be active, not just a participant watching a window. I want to be active, and you've got suggestions, and you throw it out at us to say, what do you think, to get ideas going. So it's not just one point of information or reference, but it's you're empowering us to say, you guys go, you go. What do you think? Share some ideas and do it. And that's been the highlight for us, because like Cheryl said, is there anyone out there besides us? How do you contact people? How do you start the conversation without being turned on by those who are still fast asleep? So it's been a gentle walk into the space now, and now we're just going.
And I want to thank you, Andrew and Emma, because through you, we have met some of the amazing speakers that we've had on the summit and on our Tuesday night chats. And that's just added such richness and value to our community. So thank you for your participation, everything you've done to make this really a beautiful place to be and so rewarding. Love that. Thank you. Anyone want to share what you want to, oh, let's toast to friendships and to meeting people, to good times, to learning. Cheers. Amazing year. Okay, what do you want to be acknowledged for? So I've just acknowledged Emma and Andrew for their contribution. And this is the section where you get to say, well, you know what? Nobody else would probably know this about what I went through, or nobody probably else would know the garden that I'm growing now. But, you know, like, so this is your brag moment. So who wants to brag and share with us what you've accomplished that we could acknowledge you for? And I'm going to call out, if you guys don't put your...
Everyone's too humble.
Yes, yeah. I'm going to start with Tim. Tim, I know that there's some things that you could be acknowledged for, but what do you want to be acknowledged for?
The first thing I wrote down is actually making hard decisions. For me, I've had to make a series of very difficult decisions, particularly around the area of many relationships and what I'm going to represent as my own person before I have a belief in God, before God. So I've had to make some fairly tough decisions, and yeah, they've not been easy. Most of them involve family, either my parents or ex-partner, things like that. And but I know that they are the right decisions. Not the easy ones, but the right ones. So that's a good thing to have done. So I'm pleased at least that I went through with it.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's worth cheersing. So cheers to hard decisions. Well done, Tim.
Thank you.
Cheers. Who else wants to be acknowledged? Michaela, you do.
I knew it too. I'm hiding. Look, to be honest, it's not my thing.
You've been through some tough times this year, though.
Yeah, but it's not my thing.
Okay, well, I'll do it for you.
Look, I can give it to you probably about every single person here, but this is one thing yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to say this time, or actually probably earlier than this time last year, you moved house and you had to pick up everything plus your garden and shift. But not only did you move, you cared for others along the way. So, you know, you took people in and you have not only carried burden yourself, but you've carried it for people around you. And so people don't get near mids without feeling loved and supported and cared for. So that's what I want to acknowledge Mids for her love, support and caring through the tough times.
You see, to me, this is just what you do. Nothing. Thanks, Kelly.
You've got to celebrate, right? Simon's taught me this, is that you got to celebrate the small wins, right? Take time to reflect and to not just push through, but go, you know what? That was tough and I made it and I did it. And Mids, you just make a difference to people around you. And you and that is part of who you are. So
yeah, I can acknowledge that.
Yes.
And that really comes from, you know, my bottom of my heart. Like, if I see someone that needs anything, I get out of my way and it gets done. It's just what you do.
It's what you do.
What I do. Yes. Okay. I get better. That's what I do.
Yeah. And I want to tell you, someone else who does that is Sarah. So not only has Sarah spent days moving my house, but she's just spent days moving Gail. And, you know, and she's so humble. She doesn't expect anything in return. But I'm like, I just want to lay everything at your feet, Sarah, because you make such a difference in my world, and I know in Gail's world too. So here's to the support that you give others around you. Thank you. And I know that you've been there, Barry, doing the same thing, working hard.
Very impressive, yes, I have to say.
And can I just add too, with my Sarah Red girl here, she always puts fun into everything. She just has the most positive outlook, which I need a bit of. We all need a bit of that. She puts fun into everything, right? We could be talking about doomsday, but she manages to put a smile on my face all the time, every conversation.
100%. 100%. It's hilarious. Yeah. And they don't call her Crazy Sarah for nothing.
It's all true. And I definitely second that because she's also a pina colada lady. So
So super true. I love it.
I appreciate that big time.
Best cake. Okay, so I want to move on to things. It might be your own goals or things, right? But what did everyone say that was going to happen in 2022? And it didn't happen. It's just like, nah, we got through that. Didn't happen.
The darn 24th, I was so sure.
All right, go ahead over to Barry. Barry, what?
We heard lots of disaster stories about martial law and stock market crashes and food shortages. And while they're possibly still on the cards, they haven't happened yet.
Yes, yes. And thank goodness, right? Like we've been able to use the time in the meantime to get out and do some really productive and fun things, because those haven't happened yet. Like, we're not, knock on wood, right? But a lot went around, and that's one of the funny things about Telegram and about there's all that other talk that goes on. You're like, okay, well, how much am I going to pay attention? How much is that going to derail my plans? And so it's good to really acknowledge that, because when we get into the next part, this next session, we're going to come back to that thought. Okay. So was there any personal goals that anyone had that you didn't accomplish and it didn't happen, or some things that maybe you thought were going to happen, and because whether it was positive or negative that it didn't happen? You can share that now.
Yeah, here I actually would like to add something. Like focusing more on the homeschooling, I think, is a big one for me. While we've been homeschooling this whole time, there's a big difference of the idea of that you have of what homeschooling is and the reality, miles apart. Learned a lot. And so this is what I think I'm going to take into the new year, what to focus on more with the kids and the family, and staying home with them and doing the homeschooling, because getting them away from what we think of school is so hard. And I don't know about other homeschooling people here, but this whole deschooling process is not really just for the kids, but for us adults as well. Like it reminds me how much we actually pre-trained ourselves as the adults and then passed it on, and how long it takes and how difficult it actually is to get that out of your system and not continue that same path when you then all of a sudden homeschooling. So
yeah, I thank you for acknowledging that, because it's been a thing for me as well. So and something to look at. So yeah, there's and at the same time, that's probably where we can be a bit kind to ourselves, because we are in that learning phase of that homeschooling, and we're not going to live up to our own expectations necessarily when it comes to that, because parenting is never easy at the best of times. So Does anyone want to share any area that you also had regret or sadness around, that bringing forgiveness or peace or love to it could make a difference? I know that one can be a bit close to the heart, so.
Yeah, I'll say something. So for me, it was in the lockdown. Was that this year? We were locked down. Was it this year that we were locked down? Was it last year?
Last year, yeah.
Oh, okay, well, I'm talking about last year then.
That's
That
all
doesn't
right.
matter.
That's all right. No, it's
No,
right there for you. So share that.
Well, it's kind of about like because my kids are mainstream, and them being home and having to school from home, and how difficult and frustrating it was, and having to deal with the ups and downs with it. It was horrible. You know, it was horrible. My girls didn't cope with it. So yeah, and it was just such a not nice experience for all of us. You know, but in saying that, they are back at school, but it has actually left a few scars, you know,
Yes.
on the kids, you know, which is very sad.
Yes, it's true. It doesn't, the trauma of that doesn't just disappear just because they go back to school.
Mm.
Right. And so there's something that, you know, gets locked in there that needs to work through before we can feel that, oh, everything's okay again, because it's not okay, because you feel like that you're being perpetrated against, and nobody is there kind of taking responsibility for that. And so how we be about that has to happen internally. You know, we have to bring the peace to that ourselves, and bring forgiveness to that ourselves, because no one's there saying, oh, sorry about that. No, they were just carrying on. And so how we kind of take stock of what that change happened inside of us, you know, we need to really address in so that we're not just stepping over it. You know, we just can't just forget it and move on. We have to actually just allow it to be present, and go, okay, well, what was that like for us, and what did we experience, and what can we forgive and ourselves for and others for, that we can allow us to let that go, so that we're not dragging that into our future. Because even though, like you said, it was last year, it still feels really present to us, like it happened just recently. So take a deep breath in, everyone, and just hold the thought and be present to the love and forgiveness and that gentleness that we bring when we can be completely okay with what is and with what isn't, just the way that it is. Another deep breath in and breathe it out. Let it all go. Another deep breath in. And let it out. And we can't change anything about the way that it was. We can just be okay that we are here where we are today, that we made it through, that we found each other, that we are stronger for it, and that we can be grateful for the learnings that we have from those moments, and that we can move forward from this point on. And we allow whatever love and forgiveness and peace to distill upon us, so that we can allow that to be. So now I want you to take your pen again And I want you to write down what you would like to have happen in 2023. Allow yourself to really dream big and imagine and create. And if you had a goal that you wanted to achieve this year and it didn't quite get there, maybe you wanted to grow a garden, didn't quite get there. Maybe you want to revisit some of those things in 2023, but even in a better way. Okay, so then I want you to write down maybe something concerns that you have about happening in 2023. So what concerns are there for you going into the new year? Okay, and then have a think about that concern that you have. What is the worst? What's the worst thing about that for you? Okay, then think about the best thing that could happen in 2023. And I want you to hold the picture of the best thing that could happen for you in 2023. Hold that picture in your mind and have a vision for that, for your family, for yourself. And get a really good look at what that looks like for you. Okay, then I want you to, you're going to write a statement about it, an affirmation that says something that allows you to hold to what it is that you want for your vision. So So my affirmation would sound something like this. I'm committed to teaching my family how to overcome difficulties by being steadfast and faithful in all things. Okay, so that can be a little bit tricky, but you want to have a statement that is, it's an affirmation, it's a positive statement that would help you to hold that vision tight. And if you start the vision with, I'm committed to, and I know I'm being a little bit fast and not giving you a lot of time for this part, but I want you to think you're holding that vision about who you want to be going forward into 2023. And I want you to think about 3 words that would describe the feeling of who you would be being as you carry yourself forward into 2023. So my words would be, I'm going to being excited, disciplined, and organized. Yours could be adventurous, or thrilled, or some words of ways of being that you want to carry through with you. I'll give you some more time to do this at the end. I'm just putting myself on mute because I've got a bit of background noise. So who would like to share what they would like to have happen in 2023?
I'm going to win lotto and pay my mortgage off. That's my goal.
That's a great goal. Love that.
Yeah, to have a more balanced work-life balance.
Brilliant. I'm gonna we can talk more about that. But the funny thing is about work-life balance is it never kind of looks 50-50. It always kind of looks like full on this way or full on that way. And maybe somehow, you know, you balance in between. So that's my theory on work-life balance. Oh, getting a train noise. That was different.
Where's it come from?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Who has some, I'll skip the concern one and we'll just go down to the did anyone get to write a statement about who you want to, the affirmation? Yes, Emma.
I am committed to doing what is necessary to ensure my mental and physical health and weight goals are achieved and maintained this year and long term.
Beautiful.
Because for me, it's about control my controllables. I can control me, but I don't miss. Sometimes I think I can control him, but no, not really. So I need to do what I can do for me so that I can be there for him and family.
I love that. Beautiful. We can all learn from that one. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that one. And then who had some words, 3 that would ways of being that you could carry with you into 2023? Did you find that tricky?
I'm stealing your one for organized. I know it's not the most exciting, but it's like, oh shit, yeah, organized. I haven't finished. I wrote satisfaction, but I'm like, satisfied can be a little bit weak. It needs to be a bit more pep in that, but yeah, working on it.
Yeah.
I was thinking positive,
Yep.
action focused and proactive.
Beautiful, Barry. That's awesome.
I'm stealing proactive.
I love that we can steal. Stealing is excellent. And then I always like to choose one word going into the next year. And like, I know we've chosen 3, but then I always have a word of the year. And it's not always a being word. It could, sometimes it is. It could be like unstoppable, or it could be accelerate. That's kind of been my words in the past year. So we're going to wrap it up tonight. But I want to give you one last chance to share what are you most excited about going into 2023?
By the way, I'm sorry that I dropped out for half of this. My battery went flat, then I couldn't find my keys, and I had to go hunting for the spares. And then I came back, and then I could just feel like, man, some deep stuff's been spoken about. Yeah. Like jabs, I'm like trying to get back in the flow.
Well, you've done well. You've done well, my friend.
But I'm excited for being on a completely different income bracket by the second half. Already by the end of the first half of 2023, and living not living like within like too much of a structured boundaries, like, oh, you can't have this, you can't have this, be careful with this. Having like significantly more doing what I want to do rather than what I can do.
Beautiful. Love that. So we do have a huge and cheers to that, Michael. Cheers to a big, audacious, hairy, audacious goal. I love it. Cheers. So we do have a huge year coming up in My Self-Reliance with a family camp in January. We've got an expo in March. We've got the Self-Reliance Summit in July, and then in spring we will have a Self-Reliance Festival, and that'll carry over 2 days. So we do have some really
birthday coming up,
and a birthday. We do have a big 0 birthday coming up next year. So very excited. So stay tuned for that one. Non news. Thank you everyone for participating tonight and wrapping up 2022 in a really powerful way and stepping into 2023. We will be back for our first call of the year on the 17th of January. And by then we'll have done our family camp. We will be back on next Tuesday, just for anyone who's going camping, just to arrange camping details. And we won't record that session. But if you are watching this on replay, please do go back over to the YouTube channel, Kelly Wilkins, My Self-Reliance, and have a look at all the videos that all the guest speakers that we've had on this year. It has been a phenomenal year. And thank you for everyone who has had some input to that. Here's to 2022. Cheers, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy Christmas.
And a Happy New Year. We'll see you all next year.
Yeah.
Guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Nice to see you all again.
Yeah. Thanks, Kelly. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Bye.
Kelly recommends these nutritious fast foods for your grab-and-go bag. This vegan, non-GMO, gluten and dairy-free 72-hour pack provides you with loads of energy to keep you full for longer. Grab your Summit Special at myselfreliance.com.au and pick up a large protein shake, free with your kit.